Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. I'm also the noob, and Haruka is attractive, after all.
Oh, she is. And we're a couple of magical people ready to moon cosmic power make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 96. Reikoku na Uranasu, Makoto no Pinchi, in Japanese. Coldhearted Uranus, Makoto in Danger, the English translation, and the English title, Lita Borrows Trouble, which isn't anything.
Your cold, cold Uranus will make me weak. No, it isn't anything. And I'm just
gonna borrow this trouble. I'm gonna give it back to you.
She does borrow something. I'm gonna save my review of their title for the end of the show.
That's fair.
And instead, talk about a different kind of review. An iTunes review.
Aha.
And I'm looking at my iTunes, and we got the same reviews.
Yeah.
Where's our reviews?
Where are they?
Here's a segment. I'm going to read other Sailor Moon podcasts reviews.
No.
Here, Sailor Moon Fan Club. We'll just click through here. No, I'm not going to do that, but I am going to read them and wish that we had more reviews.
Yeah.
Here's Sailor Talk. 2008? iTunes existed in 2008? There's a Sailor Moon podcast from 2008. Let's see. February 18th, 2008, April 27th, 2008. That's it.
Oh.
They're done.
Okay.
They have 15 ratings.
What?
Yes. And blah, 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 blah. Like 9, 10 reviews. They're 3 out of 5 stars. That's not great, but they've had a lot of time to think about it. Why do they have more than us? Everyone within the sound of my voice.
Yes.
Beg, borrow, bribe, or steal with a word that starts with B. Appropriate. An iTunes account and give us a review. Let's just get this over with, right? Let's just get a ton of these reviews.
Yeah.
Let's get as many as we can from the people that listen regularly, and then we don't have to ask anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
And game, set, match.
Yeah.
And that's when they just come rolling in unbidden. Pretty soon we'll be begging for people to give us nice reviews. But at this point, we just want reviews. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I mean, 5 stars would be ideal. But yeah, we do just want reviews.
Let's check out Love and Justice, a serious Sailor Moon podcast. Last episode, February 9th, 2018. Are we the only game in town?
No.
I know we're not the only game in town.
There are a couple other podcasts.
138 ratings.
Whoa!
Come on, people, please.
What?
Please.
Come on.
Lita Borrows Trouble. I would like to borrow a review.
Aww.
And then, like most things I borrow, you'll never get it back.
Well, I feel like we have a lot to talk about with this episode, but before we...
I don't agree.
Oh, you don't think so?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, we do. Of course we do.
Oh, you were teasing me so early. But before we get into that, would you give us a summary of what happened?
Some of the discussion will happen during the summary.
That is true.
We'll try to keep it
Correct.
to the discussion portions of the show. No basement lab this week. We open on a motorbike. A helmeted rider revs the throttle and goes cruising down the highway. Mm-hmm. Credits.
Yep.
Stylish.
Yeah.
Could have just started the show. They're going to start here to let you know that rider's out there.
That's a tease.
I don't know enough about Kamen Rider to know if they're doing a thing or not, but it's got a Kamen Rider-y feel.
Oh.
It's got the scarf and everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we cut to the Jubancho shopping district, where Usagi's stomach is grumbling as she and Makoto head to school. Is this show Community now? Like they're always supposed to be studying for Spanish, but they get into crazy adventures instead. All they do is study. Wait a minute. Stop the podcast. We're going to talk which person is which community character.
No.
And this is only for Patreon.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll be back in a little bit. Anyway, Makoto says she'll bring roast beef sandwiches to the study group.
Yes.
Again. So I guess she's keeping these girls fed. And Usagi
That's her
says,
job.
lucky.
Yeah.
Mako, you're the best at cooking. But Mako looks a little wistful. She says, cooking isn't about talent. I think that big boyish girls need to be good at something like cooking. Awesome.
I think, well, we'll talk about it later, but I think...
Let's
Mako,
talk about it later.
Okay.
Usagi says, even if you couldn't cook, you're feminine enough, Mako-chan. You've got mad tradwife skills.
Stop.
I just said that to make me get mad.
Yeah.
As they're crossing the street, they are nearly flattened by the motorcyclist that we saw earlier.
Yes.
Mako throws herself over Usagi as the cyclist comes to a screeching halt. They apologize and remove their helmet, revealing themselves to be Haruka.
Yep.
Mako sees the handsome girl, and the bouncy synth strains of Hayley Kyoko's Girls Like Girls begins playing.
Oh, wow.
As Haruka, I'm never going to run out of songs. As Haruka asks Usagi if she hit her head. Usagi says, no, I'm fine. Are you okay, Mako? But Mako-chan is not okay. She's going gaga for Haruka,
Yes.
who says, hey, your hand is bleeding. But Mako barely notices. Haruka takes off her scarf, and she binds Mako's hand wound with it. And Haruka's like, I was lost in thought, so I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Mako says, it's all right. And behind them, Usagi's like, what? Haruka says, you're pretty brave. Rose petals. Mako can only stare. Usagi, what?
I know.
Haruka gets on her bike and says, we'll see ya. And she wheelies off. And she blows a kiss through her helmet, which is
amazing.
Ridiculous, but is super cool. And I don't know why Mako's still alive. And
How are you a whole person
Usagi
still?
says, okay, bye. Anyway, thanks, Mako, for... Oh, no, she's gone. Hey, Mako, even if she's really hot, she's a female. This isn't Utina.
Yeah, I know.
Not cool, Usagi.
No.
Not cool.
No.
Mako says, it's not what you think. And they both laugh self-consciously like, I sure love being straight. Me too. Team Edward or Team Jacob. I'll take them both. LOL. And Bella too. What? Reminds me of that scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles where the guys wake up together.
Yes.
And then they're like, whoa! I see that Bears game. Oh, it's a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Yeah, and they're like...
Whatever the girl version of that is.
They're shaking their hands and shaking it off too. And yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I think
what is the girl version of that?
I don't know. I think what you did with the Twilight, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good.
Still a better love story than Twilight. Elsewhere in an indoor pool. In this pool, Michiru is floating by herself, her eyes closed. We don't know where this pool is. But it's inside.
I think it's, we're supposed to get the idea that this is where she lives.
Oh, nice place.
Uh-huh.
Violin, got art in a museum girl. She's remembering a conversation she had with Haruka, who says, we have to find the Messiah at any cost. We'll get back to that.
Mm-hmm.
The three talismans are the key. And Michiru says, even if we sacrifice the owner of the pure hearts? Yes, Haruka replies. For world peace. We're running out of time. Silence is approaching. And we see them in this vision. One is upside down from the other, like it's Evangelion. And Haruka looks like she's holding a rosary? Really? Catholic girls, am I right?
Huh. Okay.
And again, we see a vision of this red-tinted apocalypse. Michiru gets out of the pool. She goes to a table where a gold bracelet lays. Maybe it's just her watch.
I think it was, yeah.
I like mine better. And it starts beeping. And she says to herself, the sea is in an uproar. And we see across town that Haruka also has a bracelet. They're like the walkie-talkie watches, like the girls
Yes.
have. And she's calling Michiru on it. And Haruka says, there's a presence around here. It's not moving yet. In the background, we see Usagi, Ami, and Mako walking, and we switch our focus to them. Mm-hmm. Mako says, anyone know where Haruka's house is? Or how dirty it is? And Ami says,
oh, no.
That Haruka? And Usagi says, why do you want to know where her house is? This isn't Strawberry Panic.
Whoa, I don't get that, but okay.
Mako says, I have to return her scarf. Her scarf. And while Mako is dreaming, Usagi is judging, and Ami is being totally oblivious. They walk right by Karanite, who says, the target has been confirmed. And we see...
into her boobs.
Into her collarbone. We see a demon egg floating menacingly above the street. Hide that scarf!
Yeah.
Too late! A gust of wind blows the scarf from Mako's hand, and she tears after it, saying, "No, I need an excuse to see her."
Yeah.
And Ami says, "Excuse?" And Usagi's like, The scarf lands in a parking lot, and Mako sees it under a car. She reaches to get it, but she can't quite reach it before the demon egg merges with it. Mm-hmm. And just as her hand touches the scarf, it transforms into a hand that grabs her back.
I know!
She looks under the car to see a terrifying face with teary eyes. Mm-hmm. It says, "Scar."
Yeah.
And she pulls her hand away and jumps back. The monster creepily shimmies out from under the car and says, "I will take your pure heart." Usagi and Ami arrive and transform, but before they can do anything, scarlet tendrils shoot out of the demon and engulf Mako. Mercury gives us a shined aqua illusion and freezes the binding solid, and Mako easily breaks out of them. Although she would have done that in a few seconds anyway. Presumably. Sailor Moon brandishes the love rod and says, "What are you doing this early in the morning? Get away from that straight girl."
Oh, God.
Kara Knight, who is hiding in an alley nearby, says, "Geez, already? Scar, retreat!" And she disappears, and Scar, the demon, leaps to the street and scurries away on its human female high-heeled legs, laughing. It's one of the weirdest, creepiest things this show's ever done.
It is very bizarre, and I kind of love it.
Usagi and Ami are like, "What the hell?" And from the roof of a nearby building, Neptune and Uranus are watching, and Neptune says, "That girl is the current target," meaning Mako. Mm-hmm. Uranus says, "I can't tell if she has a talisman." And Neptune asks why they can't fight with the sailors, but Uranus says, "To stop silence, we must sacrifice someone." Could they do that? Let's keep an eye on this girl for now. Early eye catch.
Yeah.
This is all loaded into the second half of this thing.
I know. But we had a early Daemon transformation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is probably the earliest Sailor Moon's ever transformed since the first episode.
Yeah, right.
The next day at Juban Jr., school is getting out, and Usagi is looking for Mako so they can walk home. But surprise, surprise, Mako has left already. Mm-hmm. She's back in the car park looking for that scarf. Girl, it's gone.
I know, right?
It's a monster now.
Yeah.
Usagi shows up mad and says, "We talked about this yesterday. You can bloom into you on your own time. We got study group." Just then, who pulls up but Haruka and Michiru in a sweet yellow open top. Uh-huh. Haruka says, "Get in, losers. We're going by curious." No, she says, "I've got something to ask you. Want to join us?" "Oh, that's better." Mako's like, you mean me?" And Usagi's like, "Don't you see a problem here?" And Haruka's like, "What, girls can't go on a drive together?" And in the background, you see Michiru is like laughing. She's like eating this up. Yeah. This is not the first time Haruka has done this.
Oh, no.
A little good-natured nampaing.
Hey, stop throwing that around.
I said good-natured. You shouldn't have taught me what Nampa was.
I didn't. They showed it.
Usagi says, "Well, I didn't say that." "Well, I didn't say that."
Oh my God.
I've seen the dubbed version of this scene. Haruka says, "Great, we'll drive your friend to the other side. We'll bring her right back."
Wow, stop.
Mako hops in and off they go. And I have to talk. All right, all this lesbian stuff. Let me talk about this car real quick.
Go for it.
Not that lesbians can't like cars.
Yeah, I think they can.
I have a lot of questions, or maybe some answers. This car is cherry. It's sweet. Mm-hmm. And it's clearly supposed to be a 1967 Toyota 2000 GT, which is a classic sought-after sports car. And it's significant because a 2000 GT appeared in the 1967 James Bond film You Only Live Twice, which takes place almost exclusively in Japan.
Nice. Yes.
There's a scene when Bond is picked up by Aki, one of Tiger Tanaka's agents. And in the scene, they're being chased. And they call in a helicopter. And a helicopter uses a magnet to pick the chasing car off the road and drops it in Tokyo Bay. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
The thing is, in the movie, the car is a convertible, but Toyota never made a convertible 2000 GT. In fact, they had to custom make one because Sean Connery was so tall. They actually made two for the production.
Oh, wow.
So if this is the same universe, Haruka is driving one of only two convertible 2000 GTs in existence, one of which sold for $1.25 million in 2013. Where did Haruka get this car? There's the question. I guess I did have a question after all.
Well, you're gonna hate me for this. In the manga.
Oh my God.
Haruka and Michiru are asked how they can afford the luxurious apartments that they have, and Haruka blurts out that, like, oh, we have patrons. We don't have to worry about money.
You know, that reminds me. I had my eye on a sweet, cherry 1967 2000 GT the other day.
Yeah.
And you know what can make that dream possible?
What?
Contributions from our patrons. Patrons like you. Join our Patreon today. At patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Yes.
So they're flush. I got it. I mean, she was swimming in a penthouse pool. So.
I mean, they just wanted to put them... They want them to have cool, nice things. They don't want to explain where they came from.
Well, I think connecting Haruka to James Bond...
I think that's cooler.
Something.
Yeah.
That says something.
Mm-hmm.
It means that Michiru's going to die in the third reel, but...
Don't you say that!
Oh, no, actually, second reel, probably.
Wow.
If she's a disposable Bond girl. As they speed down the highway, Haruka asks, have you heard of the Kinsey scale? Just kidding.
Whoa.
She asks, she says, this is Michiru. We're in the same grade. And Mako says, how old are you two? And they say they're in 10th grade. And Mako's like, why can you drive a car? And Haruka says, I got a license overseas. And no one questions it. Nobody looks it up. So I guess it works out.
Yeah, because you have to be 18
Oh, no, I remember
to
when you
get a
told
license.
me. But it kind of seems like she doesn't really have a license.
I kind of feel like you're right.
Haruka changes the subject and says,
yep.
Those are pretty earrings. They look good on you. Would you say you're open to new experiences? Mako seems flustered, and Haruka says, was it bad for us to force you like this? And Mako says, oh, no. So what did you want to ask me? Haruka says, we want to be better friends with you. And Mako's like, you do? You do? At Ray, Ami, and Minako scream, Dato?
Yeah.
As Usagi has told them what has happened, Minako says, did Mako's preferences change?
I know.
Well, Mina, that's not exactly how it works, but I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Ami immediately says, it's not that, but maybe she doth protest too much. Ami Mako? Hold that, Ami Mako, and let's Ray Mako for a second, because Ray says, no matter how attractive she is, I can't believe she's chasing after other women. Okay, let's break this down.
Okay.
Is Ray saying that attractive people are sex fiends who try to get with everybody? That they can have anybody, so they're gonna have everybody? Uncool, Ray.
She better not be.
Sounds like a jealous lover to me.
Well, it's possible, I suppose.
Ami says, it's not that. Usagi says, but Ray, you have this too. And she brings out Female Musical Group Photo Book, which has a sexy lady in a captain's hat with a mustache on the cover.
Yes.
Please tell me we're digging into this later.
We are.
And Ami finally says, that's not the problem. We can't leave her alone because they're after her pure heart.
Yes.
And everyone's like, yeah. That night down by the waterfront, Haruka and Michiru are looking at the lights, and Mako calls the girls on her watch and tells them that she's at Kyozu Park. Mm-hmm. Ami on the other end says, we'll be right there. But Mako says, it's fine. If a monster comes, I'll defeat it. And then she says, please, let me do what I want for today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mako, you do what you have to do.
Yeah.
She looks over to where Haruka is standing, and you can hear the girls on the other end shouting, Mako-chan, don't give up! Come back to the straight side of the force!
Oh,
They start arguing with each other, like on the other end. There's so many hot guys! That's not what's important now! This is a once-in-a-lifetime problem for Mako-chan! Mako waves at Haruka and says, I don't know how to say this. You know how Haruka is attractive? I just look up to somebody that attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Fart noise. We'll talk about it. Haruka waves back, but then she's like, behind you! And behind her is Scar.
Yeah.
The hideous creature tears open her robe, and Mako's like, no! Huh? Underneath, Scar has the body of a beautiful woman in a red dress with a bow on the back.
Yep.
But the bow gets bigger, and it shoots out from behind her like Dr. Octopus's arms.
Yes.
This is what we saw before.
Yes.
And once again, it ensnares Mako. Scar draws Mako nearer and says, your pure heart that looks up to your ideal woman. Oh, you heard all that? I will. Ah! A thrown rock slams into Scar's face, thrown by Haruka. And we see that the hideous face was merely a mask. And Scar has green hair and completely blue eyes. It's weird.
Yeah.
Mako says, "Get out of here, guys!" But Scar says, "Don't throw rocks!" and knocks Michiru and Haruka back with a blast of ribbons. Kara Knight appears in the sky and says, "No more interruptions. Take that heart!" Scar, no idea how they do this on Toonami, but Scar tears open the folds of her dress to reveal a breast. Yep. Topped with a star tattoo. She begins taking Mako's heart as Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus watch from the bushes. Uranus says, "I feel bad, but we have to do this." Mako's heart, I would disagree. Mako's heart emerges from her chest and the light leaves her eyes. The heart crystal floats up to Kara Knight, but so does a world shaking, knocking the crystal from Collarbone's hands and into Neptune's. And Uranus says, "Sorry, we need that talisman." And Kara Knight says, "Scar! Put your tits away! Get them!" And she disappears. Scar leaps at the pair and fires her ribbons, but Uranus dodges and the battle commences. We don't see that, though. We just focus in on the limp and lifeless form of Makoto on the ground. She's still alive, but she thinks, so that's why they waited, meaning Uranus and Neptune. She thinks, they watched those girls with the same measurements, hair color, and faces get beat up, and they didn't do anything.
I know.
Secret identities are weird.
They are.
"That's enough," says a voice, and we pan up to see that the Sailor soldiers have arrived. Sailor Moon says, "The villain that snatches away a pure maiden's heart, I can't forgive you." And we get a Venus Love Me chain and burning mandala coming down at Scar, but Scar's ribbons become 4 duplicates, which absorb the attacks. As the battle rages, Neptune says, "This isn't a talisman," but Sailor Moon says, "Wait, please return her heart." Uranus says, "Yeah, here." And Sailor Moon rushes to Mako's side. Mars and Venus are struggling with Scar's ribbons, but a deep submerge from Neptune catches the demon from behind, stunning her. Mako wakes up and Usagi tells her, "You should rest." But Mako says, "No, I'm not done yet today." Jupiter star power makeup! She transforms, and as Scar rushes her, she throws a sparkling wide pressure, which paralyzes the demon. She yells, "Now, Sailor Moon!" And we get the MSHA for the win. The demon is once again a scarf that merely blows away.
Yep.
As Uranus and Neptune turn to leave, Jupiter says, "I don't know what your deal is, but you're always trying to take these hearts. You're just like the demons." Uranus says, "So?" Jupiter says, "I can't forgive you, not today." Now listen to these words. She says, "I'll straighten out that demented mentality of yours. We'll talk about it."
Whoa.
And she rushes at them, but Uranus blocks her attack and punches her in the gut. She was tired. She went through a lot. She had her heart ripped out. Otherwise, that would have been a fair fight, right? We'll see. We'll see. Jupiter drops to the ground, and the girls rush to her aid instead of, I don't know, love me, fire, aqua chaining Uranus and Neptune, who just leap away.
Yeah, I know.
As they flee, Neptune says, "You're acting immature. You should hold back a little." But we see that Uranus's own hand is hurt, where she was hit by Jupiter. And she says, she's powerful.
Yeah.
Jupiter recovers and finds the scarf thinking, wait, what's this doing here? You know, like you got friends from camp and you got friends from school and then the friends meet each other and you're like, well, this is
how do you guys know
weird.
each other?
Yeah, this is strange.
Right.
Well, the girls find Haruka and Michiru passed out in the bushes and wake them up in their civilian disguises. Mako is relieved that they're okay and that the Sailor Senshi showed up to defend them.
Yeah.
Secret identities are weird.
They are!
She's so glad she throws her arms around Haruka and apologizes that it's her fault they were hurt. Haruka's such a shithead.
I know.
Then she sees that Haruka's hand is hurt and she binds it with Haruka's scarf. Come on!
I know.
Mako thinks, Haruka's wonderful. I hope I can be a wonderful woman like her someday. You already are, Mako.
Aw, she is.
A wonderful bit of dramatic irony there. I don't know why that's funny. I think that's good writing.
No, it is. It is good writing. It was a really touching moment.
The next day in Juban Shopping District, the girls are talking about Mako and saying, "What do you think? I don't know. Maybe she looked like her senpai? Do we get her some hiking boots, or how does this work?"
Stop.
And as they're walking, they pass by a clothing store, and Ami looks up to see Mako at the store counter trying on a lavender scarf and looking pretty good.
Putting her own.
She's gonna take that ride next time. She sees that car coming by. You hear that 2000 GT revving down the avenue.
Oh my gosh.
She's gonna run right out there. No tuxedo mask again in this episode.
You're right.
This isn't for boys. This is Yorkie. it's not for girls. This is Anti-Yorkie.
This is Anti-Yorkie. This is something that's just for girls.
Just for girls.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, another episode largely about love, and he's nowhere to be seen.
Say whatever you want, whenever you want, but I literally have a list of things that I want to go through. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to start at the top.
Yeah.
With big boyish girls and their responsibilities. I got a feeling that doesn't translate exactly well. Like, I get what she's saying. She's 6 feet tall.
She's really tall.
Custom bra. We talked about all this.
Mm-hmm.
She feels like she is, because she's so different from the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's clearly feminine, but there are levels or like sectors of femininity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
In the same way that a TA... or like a new teacher. When I was in third grade, this is third grade, not like older grades, but when I was in third grade, I had a teacher who it was her first class ever.
Oh, sure.
And there's some fun stories about her learning to be a teacher. She was literally 22 out of college, right?
Yeah, right.
Now think about like you're in high school and you get a teacher that's right out of college. Not that much difference.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going a weird place. All I'm saying is you think of that person as being different. They're an adult. They're a woman or whatever. And
right.
They're not all that different from you.
Yes.
And like Mako is sort of like, because of her body and because of her interests, and also because she beat everybody up at her old schools.
Yeah.
She's in this like different class. And so even though she is more womanly in a lot of ways than the other girls, she is an outcast because she doesn't fit into, what they're doing. And I think that's really interesting. And it's something that we have not done for a long time.
No, and we haven't talked about it for a long time. And I think she feels like she has to try even harder to be feminine because she is really tall and naturally kind of boyish and that sort of thing. But I do... So I think that's why she put so much into cooking. And then also... But she also says like she did it basically so she could be more attractive and like she could have some qualities that she thought that somebody might like, because she sees herself as not being attractive, which is really, and not being very feminine, even though, like you said, she is actually very feminine. I would argue in some ways.
Well, I don't know how many compliments we need to heap on, figure skating, custom bra, Master Chef, but a lot of times you hear interviews with, women who are now, famous actresses or supermodels or something like that. And they always talk about how like, I was like 5'11" in 7th grade, everybody picked on me. I thought that I was, and then some guy saw me in a soda shop or something like that and was like, you should be a model. And now and that girl was Giselle Bundchen or something like that. Right.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's like, the only thing I don't like about her, and if I was going to recast and do like a live action or even a cartoon Sailor Moon today, I would make Mako less perfect.
You think she's perfect?
She is. She's like an adult character that walked in from another anime. You know what I mean?
I don't think she's
I would
perfect,
make her
but...
gangly. I would make her different. You know what I mean? Like I would make her an awkward girl and play that. Because she makes the little, she'll cut your hot dog into an octopus, and she makes all the little things, and
great
she's
bento boxes.
Well dressed, and but she also doesn't care. She'll wear a baseball hat or whatever and jeans.
Yes,
it's like what every girl like aspires to be, to have that sort of like easy grace in who she is. The good lesson that we do get from the show is that even someone like that, the girl with all the gifts, can still be a neurotic mess sometimes.
Yeah, well, I think like peek behind the curtain, she is graceful, but maybe it isn't easy grace.
She's a figure skater.
But maybe
she's literally a figure skater.
She had to work at it.
Well, everybody has to work at everything, but I'm just saying, like, there's another 100 episodes. I'm sure we're going to discover all kinds of things that she can do as we go on, and she'll still be saying, "I don't know, I'm just a big boyish girl." All right.
Well, I think by the end of this episode, she feels, largely because of her interactions with Haruka, I think she feels more comfortable in her own skin.
Yeah, and I doubt that this would ever happen, but at this point, is it The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Anybody read those books still?
I kind of, yes.
In those books, we get the 4 the 4 original Narnia kids.
Yeah, there's
and
2
by
boys
the
and 2
last
girls.
book,
yeah.
remember, time moves differently in Narnia, right? So by the last books, they're still going to Narnia, but the heroes of the original book are now older. They're in their teens. They can drive and they care about lipstick and boys and stuff like that. And so that's just the passage of time, but also they can't really go to Narnia anymore because it's a place for
young children.
Innocent children. And so I would, and I'm sure this isn't going to happen in the next 100 episodes, but I would have this be the start of maybe the arc where we kind of offboard Jupiter from the show. Do you know what I mean? Like they're walking around in their uniforms and they're going to study group or whatever, and they look in this boutique and here's this like classy lady trying on things and they're like, is that Mako?
Yeah, I know.
Like she's starting to like, and then she'll get picked off by some guy in a convertible, just like one of those where you wonder how like the really young women end up with the really gross old men.
Ew! Don't wish that on her. I don't like that.
There's all kinds of scenarios. There's all kinds of ways this can go.
I did want to say something really quick. There is a really great Sci-Fi Wire article that specifically cites this episode and talks about how not only does Mako it deals with like her questioning her sexual and gender identity.
We're just about to talk about that.
So, but I just wanted to give a shout out to that. And I think that that's so important because you don't really see that. People don't talk. 1, I don't think that it's something that people talk about enough. And 2, I don't think it's represented in media enough. Yes.
It's not represented in this media.
You don't think so?
No.
They don't go far enough.
They don't go anywhere at all. Oh. It's all a misdirect and a gag. And
really? You think so?
I think that you can want it to be what it is. You can choose to read it as it is, as I have done in my fun recap. But I don't think any of that is actually going on. It's all a misunderstanding. At the very end, they kind of go, she's like, oh no, I just admire her. And you can say to yourself, she spent a day with these girls. She didn't know what she was feeling. And then she realized, no, like that's the kind of woman I want to be. And now I'm going to try on scarves and stuff like that. That's what happened.
I know,
That's what happens in the episode. So all the other stuff is a goof and a gag. It's like a Three's Company episode, right? Three's Company. All right. I don't have any better because this is so backward. This is why I'm so mad about this. It's so backward. I can't even think of like a modern example for younger listeners. You just have to look up what Three's Company is. Three's Company, the idea is you've got Jack. He lives with Chrissy and the other one. And nobody remembers the other name. Janet. Chrissy and Janet. He lives with Chrissy and Janet. Janet's, Ami would like Janet. He lives with Chrissy and Janet, and the reason he lives there is because he can live with 2 other people, and the rent is low, right?
Yeah.
But Mr. Roper, the landlord, doesn't want him to live there because he doesn't want mixed couples, right?
Yeah.
Because he's against all this 70s sexual liberation stuff.
Yeah.
So Jack pretends that he's gay. Now, this never is really all that important in the show. They just do bits for Mr. Roper, but it's not like he has to really commit to this gay thing. But it's about like Jack living with 2 hot chicks, and then Jack is like your 70s Lothario. He's always trying to have girls over and nail chicks.
Yeah.
And so whenever Mr. Roper catches him with a girl, they have to explain it away. And then every once in a while, his friend Larry comes over and like, they're both bending over trying to get something out from under the couch when Mr. Roper comes in and he's like, oh, I guess they're right. Or whatever. They do gay panic jokes, right?
Gosh.
I think that this is a bunch of gay panic jokes.
Well,
I don't want to... It breaks my heart to say that, especially after all of the representation that we've seen previously. And I know that people look at this as, this is the Sailor Moon, welcome to the gay room Sailor Scouts text. And having seen it, I don't think that that's there. The show gives itself an out, and it takes it at the end.
Okay, I do agree that the show gives it an
I also don't like when she tells the object of her affection, I'll straighten out that demented mentality of yours.
I don't like that either.
Now, I know it's a translation from another language.
Yeah.
But that's a bad translation.
I agree.
Especially with the subtext.
Yeah, yes.
Or the
why do we have to have
possible
straightened
perceived,
out?
Yeah, that demented mentality.
Yes.
This choice that you made with your life.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Audience is going to hate me. All I'm saying is, this is what I see if I take my headcanon glasses off. I don't know why I had to literally take my glasses off when I said that.
I You're like, well, I've got them. I'm going to use them. I really feel like she kind of has a crush on Haruka, though. At least throughout the most of this episode. And then she kind of is like, maybe I just look up to her and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know.
So that leads me to my next thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So Matt Baume is a guy on YouTube.
Yes.
He used to have a show called Culture Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
I think he doesn't go under that brand anymore, but if you search for Culture Cruise on YouTube, you'll find him. He's a really nice guy, and he does a lot of videos about sitcoms and gay representation on sitcoms. And I'm positive that he has done one on the Gay for a Day storyline.
Oh, okay.
Where a character, thinks, I think I'm gay. I might be gay. Frasier did like 15 of these.
Oh, sure.
And then you do all the gay jokes you can, and at the end, you realize that, like, the character's like, well, I guess I'm not gay, but I love my gay friend. And you kind of get to explore that space without having having a gay
committing
character.
To it.
In fact, I remember specifically, speaking of not being a gay person, Patrick Stewart came on and played a guy who Frasier, had... The guy thought that Frasier was into him. He thought Frasier was gay, and Frasier allowed him to believe that to get the benefit, because the guy worked for the opera or something. It's some Frasier reason, right?
Yeah.
And then up until the point where the guy's like ready to announce their engagement, and Frasier's like, "Okay, hold on, let's bring the ship to a halt here, Captain."
Wow. Okay.
So is that what they're doing? Because that kind of sucks too.
I guess either way, it's not great.
I wish that car had just kept going.
Aww.
I wish that car had just never stopped. But the car has to stop sometime, and I don't think that the car arrived where people like to say that it arrived. Now, maybe part 2 of this conversation will be the Subaru Dubru, where we find out how they butchered this episode. But we can get to that in a little bit.
I'm going to appreciate it. It could be better, okay? It was in the 90s. They didn't really go that far with it. They didn't really maybe do enough at all. But I like that the idea of questioning is there.
Sure.
I like that it's there.
It's just too bad that often straight people get to use gay people to reaffirm how straight they are. And I know that Matt Baume has talked about that on some of his videos.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you like gay people so much? Why aren't they on the show?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, there are gay people on
What
this
if
show,
Jack was really gay on Three's Company?
Yeah.
And he's bringing dudes home to bone, but he's got to pretend for his landlord that he's super straight.
And super into his roommates.
And he's into his roommates. This is the birdcage. This is L'Occasion.
Yeah, you're right.
Never mind.
That is what it is.
They already did that in the 70s. Forget it.
Yeah.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I think it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Dean Gray.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Oh, wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so sorry.
What? For Kyoro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we are going to be talking about Takarazuka Revue.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I know those words.
Yes, which Mika has said many a time. So in this episode, Usagi pulls out Rei's copy of a generic, quote, female musical group photo book.
Yeah.
which is very obviously a reference to Takarazuka Revue. And I say obviously for those who know Takarazuka Revue, for those in the know. But Takarazuka Revue, or Takarazuka Kageki Dan, which means musical revue or opera, is a Japanese all-female musical theater troupe based in Takarazuka, which is in Hyogo Prefecture, Japan. Takarazuka is in between Osaka and Kobe on the main island of Honshu.
Kobe.
Yeah. And women play all of the roles in lavish Broadway-style productions of Western-style musicals and stories adapted from film, novels, shoujo manga, and Japanese folktales.
Huh.
In 1913, the Takarazuka Revue was founded by Ichizo Kobayashi, an industrialist turned politician and president of Hankyu Railways in Takarazuka.
Okay.
The city was the end of the Hankyu line from Osaka and already a popular tourist destination because of its hot springs. Kobayashi believed that it was the ideal spot to open an attraction that would boost train ticket sales and draw more business to Takarazuka. Capitalism. Since Western song and dance shows were becoming more popular and Kobayashi considered the kabuki theater to be old and elitist, he decided that an all-female theater group might be well-received by the general public.
I've always wanted to do kabuki theater. Can I do that?
Like,
they don't
act in it? Or...
Just because they're Japanese, right?
I don't know.
How cultural are we talking here? Oh, they do Shakespeare.
Well, they do Shakespeare.
Yeah.
They do kabuki-style
my life's
Shakespeare.
not over. I want to do kabuki theater.
That'd be cool, but
I'll
you have to,
a Japanese person, direct it,
Sure.
Somebody with experience with the thing.
Well, I know there's very stylized movements, and, you have to,
No, I would learn all that.
Oh, yeah, but it takes a really long time.
I've sang in
I know.
Chinese and different languages before,
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun. I think it would be really cool. So,
I'd end up playing the old woman, washerwoman.
Oh, you think?
You think you're going to be like, the fans and the oni mask and the hair. And be
right.
Whoa, or whatever, but I'd be like, oh. I'd be like,
the town gossip or whatever.
Oh.
The matchmaker. In 1914, the review had its first performance. So that's just a year after it was founded. And 10 years later, the company had become popular enough to obtain its own theater in Takarazuka called the Dai Gekijo, meaning Grand Theater. And today the company owns and operates another theater, the Takarazuka Theater in Tokyo. And currently, Takarazuka performs for around 2.5 million people each year, and the majority of its fans are women.
Oh.
Yes.
Like Ghostbusters 2016.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Whoa.
I apologize. I didn't.
This has been around for over 100 years. So.
But even before it became so, in 1916 or whatever, it wasn't all women, right? It was literally people going, "Oh, what's this?" And they checked it out, and they had this all over the world, but. Theater, women weren't allowed on stage usually at the beginning of theater, right? And then different countries, more or less, they start to show up on stage. But you're talking about a country that has trains, but is still probably mainly men on stage, right?
Yeah.
And then they would go, hey, check this out. It's all women. And it's kind of like that, but it's a little different. People clearly came out because in 2 years they were able to go totally pro with it. Whereas in Scandinavia... Henrik Ibsen was changing some rules about theater and stuff, and people were rioting. They were literally shooting at the actors on stage.
Right.
So I just think it's cool that the Japanese culture is what if a girl was doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just this is a pretty good show.
Let's check this out. Yeah. Well, Kabuki when it first started was all women, and then it kind of
Gotta get them out of there.
Well, there is maybe some prostitution and stuff going on the side. So
Capitalism.
So then they decided, all of the female roles are going to be played, all of the roles are going to be played by men.
What if you were the first guy, not to do gay panic jokes, but what if you were the first guy after the switch? And you're like, all right, see you backstage. Whoa!
Oh, no. Let's not get into that.
all art we say capitalism, but all art has a patron. And you can
It's
support
true.
this art at patreon.com/Sailor Noob. Last time.
Okay, all right. The women who play male parts are referred to as otokoyaku, meaning male role, and those who play female parts are called musumeyaku, or girl role. And otoko means man, and while musume actually means daughter or young girl specifically. We'll get into that a little bit more. But the costumes, set designs, and lighting are lavish. The performances tend to be very dramatic. We're not going for realism here. We're going for high drama. Regardless of the era of the musical presented. Period accuracy is just, we kind of throw that out the window. At the very end of each show, there is this review, this musical review, and it's this extravagant finale, which always includes glittering costumes for both the male and female roles, and the actors are parading down an enormous stage-wide staircase, and sometimes there's also a Rockette style kick line. And lead performers portraying both male and female roles appear in the finale wearing a huge circular feathered back piece reminiscent of Las Vegas or Paris.
Sure.
It's very, very theatrical. Before becoming a member of the troupe, a young woman must train for 2 years in the Takarazuka Music School, one of the most competitive of its kind in the world. Yes.
Reality show.
Oh, yeah, that would be if they would let you
must
do
exist.
it. There is a really great documentary called came out in 1993 called Dream Girls. It doesn't really.
Yeah.
It's not as saucy as you think, but
Shoop Dreams.
oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Where's the stickers?
You're gonna give it to your.
I put them away.
You put them away. You'll have to find
okay,
one
fine.
later.
Yeah, that's all right.
So remember Shoop Dreams. But each year, thousands of applicants between the ages of, they used to do young teens, but now it's only 15 to 18 years old, from all over Japan audition. The 40 to 50 who are accepted are trained in music, dance, and acting. You have to be a triple threat in Takarazuka. You have to. The school is famous for its strict discipline and its custom of having first-year students clean the premises. They clean the school each morning. All graduating students become performers in Takarazuka Revue. The actors in training actually get to choose if they are going to be otokoyaku or musumeyaku. This decision is done shortly after they are accepted into the school, since the training is dedicated not only to acting, singing, and dancing, but also to perfecting the presentation of either otokoyaku or musumeyaku. This being said, it is not completely up to the actors. Takarazuka examiners, who are the ones who basically allow the applicant, who select the applicants who are going to be let into the school, they probably have a good idea who is going to be a male role or a female role actor during the selection process. And the biggest deciding factor on whether an actor will be an otokoyaku or musumeyaku is height. So it is important, because it's important to create the illusion of a male and female couple on stage. So today, 170 centimeters is considered to be standard for a male role actor. So that's around a little over 5 feet 5 inches. I actually watched, there's this really interesting video. Like, if you're like between like 100 and, if you're like in this like mid range, it's like really hard for you, because it's like hard for them to decide, are you going to be an otokoyaku or a musumeyaku?
She's a tweener.
And then it's like hard if like for both roles, because if you're a
She's
short
slouching.
male role, then you're probably not going to be one of the top stars. And then if you're like one of the tall female roles, there aren't that many male role actors they can pair with you.
You know, they have a weigh-in for like, for boxing or wrestling. She's going to the measure in, and she's like slouching. She's like, no, really, come on.
I know, right?
Or there's a short girl that really wants to play male roles. She's like, I'm a Daniel Radcliffe type. Come on.
There's always some scrappy
Tom
young
Cruise is 5'5".
character. Yeah, right. Let me in. And then other, of course, factors are voice range and facial structure. Even outside their roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yeah. Baritones are going to be playing the male roles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's get real.
What do you mean I can't be Little Bo Peep?
Yeah, exactly. Even outside their roles, otokoyaku need to project a more masculine image. They have to cut their hair short and wear androgynous or more masculine clothing, even outside of the theater.
Nice.
They need to speak.
Ooh, outside the theater.
Yes.
Oh, so there's kayfabe here. Like they're on all the time.
Kind of really.
You are
Yeah.
my boy.
Yeah.
With an eye.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
Interesting.
And they need to speak in a lower voice register.
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. They need to speak in a lower register of voice and use more masculine language. Remember we talked about gendered language.
I feel like Scar was like, "What's Scar?"
I feel like when the mask was on, Scar had a deeper voice.
I gotta tell you, I was like, "Oh, is this a?" I didn't mean to assume gender, but I was like, "Is this? Oh, we're doing a male Yoma? They've all been girls so far, or at least in this in S." But there you go.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a role.
It is a
Playing a
role.
role.
Yeah, we're playing a role here, just like
The role of a
Takarazuka.
death time.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, it's not a lifetime.
I like that, actually. And similarly, Musume Yaku need to project an ultra feminine image all the time. They have to have long hair and dress really femininely. So they can wear pants.
I get mad
but
about established gender roles, but they're literally all women playing these roles.
I know.
Whatever.
I know. And they need
I
to
can't keep track.
They need to speak in a higher register and use more feminine language. But they also take on like more male and female roles within the classroom too. Well, but anyways, but this just reminds me of Haruka and Michiru, and their characters are modeled after actors in Takarazuka Revue, and Haruka really portrays this popular top star Takarazuka Revue vibe, like ultra popular with it, would do anything for Michiru, and Michiru is like ultra feminine, very romantic and all this stuff. Anyways, it just, the more you think about it, it just really sticks out. Otokoyaku are meant to present an idealized man, a hero. Otokoyaku are really the stars of Takarazuka and tend to have a lot more fans than Musumeyaku. There also tend to be a lot more lead roles for Otokoyaku, and they are more of a focus for interviews, merchandising, etc.
Okay, I take it back. I am mad now.
Oh, you
have a
yeah.
company with all women, and all
I know.
you do is just enforce the exact same stereotypes, vocational stereotypes that women actors have had to deal with their entire lives.
Oh, you want to get even more mad?
Sure.
Sometimes Otokoyaku, like the top stars Otokoyaku, if they're not as many great roles for men in a production, they will play Musumeyaku roles. That doesn't really go the other way.
So is a company like 70% Otokoyaku and 30%?
It's actually pretty evenly split, even though you would think because they're the stars, Otokoyaku would be more popular for the actors to choose.
A lot of people running the lights.
Yeah, right.
On this one.
But
a lot
actually,
of people pulling the curtain.
A lot of people are Musumeyaku, and I think that they're kind of unsung heroes of this entire thing. But like, for example, there are certain productions that they do they do kind of on a fairly regularly basis that are popular shows. Whenever they do Gone with the Wind, believe it or not, and when they do Gone with the Wind, there are a couple of roles that are always played by a Tokoyaku, one of them being Scarlet. So if you have a really strong female, in-your-face female character, chances are it's going to be played by Tokoyaku, which I think is a little upsetting, to say the least.
Tomorrow is another day.
I know. The company has 5 main troops. There's Flower or Hana, Moon, Suki, Snow, Yuki, Star, Hoshi, and Cosmos, Sora. That's the new one that only started in 1998.
Sora.
Yeah. As well as superior members, a collection for older actresses no longer part of a regular troupe who still wish to maintain their association with the review and perform every once in a while. There is a really strict hierarchy within each troupe. The top star otokoyaku is essentially in charge of the entire troupe, leading by a good example, making sure the other actors are pulling their weight. The top musumeyaku would be next, and then the second rank otokoyaku called nibante, so on and so forth. Top stars have usually been performing for at least 10 years within the troupe, and will typically retire after being the top star for 3. The review has very strict rules. The actresses are not allowed to marry unless they retire from Takarazuka. And supposedly, but I feel like this has been fact-checked, they are not allowed to date. I've seen that in a lot of different places. However, the documentary that I mentioned before, Dreamgirls, you can watch it on YouTube for free. There is a top otokoyaku star who just kind of mentions that she had a boyfriend, so clearly she could date, but she got so busy when she became top star, she didn't have time to, you don't have free time to date somebody when you are spending all of your time, devoting your life to theater.
Well, that's very possible,
Yeah.
but a lot of times they lie because it's a story, right?
Well, that's
you
true,
have to
too.
remain sort of available or potentially available. That's more attractive to the fans, especially with
Yes.
with J-pop girls and K-pop girls.
Yeah, yes, and that's what it reminds me of too.
You
And
like the girls in Blackpink have boyfriends, right? Like they're not,
I would
but they're
think
probably
so.
like, oh, I really want a guy who's like tall, but sensitive though, and likes ice cream. Speaking of ice cream,
I know.
don't ask me any more questions about Blackpink.
Yeah, no,
that's all
I don't know
That's
anything
where
either.
I'm at the end.
So like I said before, the vast majority of Takarazuka fans are female. Although some are really young girls, teenagers and whatnot, a lot of fans are between 30 to 50 years old and are usually married. There are 2 prominent theories as to what attracts fans. One is that the women are drawn to its inherent lesbian overtones. One author states, quote, "It was not masculine sexuality which attracted the Japanese girl audience, but it was feminine eroticism."
Okay.
Another theory is that the girls are not drawn to the implicit sexuality of Takarazuka, but instead are fascinated by the otokoyaku, quote, "getting away with a male performance of power and freedom." So I think that's another really big part of it. Like Japan really...
Oh my God,
The
it's exciting
gendered
to watch a
roles.
girl get to do things that men do.
Yes!
That's kind of depressing.
But it's so true! And
Yeah.
they're cool! I don't know, man. They're just cool.
Yeah.
You're depressed by this.
No, I mean, there's a long tradition of the girls are doing it too, y'all.
Yeah.
Movies in America, the girl bank robber movie, or the girl,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
the Banditas or whatever.
Ocean's
like,
8.
Well, yeah, or Ocean's 8.
Mm-hmm.
Or that like really bad Dirty Rotten Scoundrels remake. The Hustle?
Yeah, I think so.
But I don't mean explicitly taking a film that was men before and then doing it with women.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters comes up again.
Oh, God.
I mean, like, approaching it from, it's fine to have, so Jean-Claude Van Damme kicks somebody 50 times. It's fine to have a woman come in, you kill my brother or my sister, kicks him 50 times. That's fine.
Yeah.
But so many times, they try to fit these women into the exact same films, but we just do it with the girl. And I'm not saying that men and women can't have the same motivations, but they often have different motivations because they approach things differently.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying you can't do that, but sometimes it's more interesting to have like an action movie where is this where Peppermint comes out?
Maybe. Yeah.
where the main character has a
Haven't seen
different
it, but
approach and
maybe.
motivation because they're a woman instead of a man.
Right.
But like this Takarazuka Revue thing is like, no, it's like the girl is, or Romeo's a girl, but
Yes,
but a
they
boy.
do. They have done Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. Lots of Shakespeare.
I knew a girl who in college she played Romeo in an all female production of Romeo and Juliet.
Nice.
But she was just a girl, she was a boy. It was a Takarazuka Revue, basically.
Yeah, okay.
They weren't like saying anything. I was like, well, so what's it saying? Oh, it's not saying anything. It's kind of saying something. You're a girl and you're playing Romeo,
It's kind of saying
right?
something,
But
yeah.
it wasn't supposed to be saying anything. So.
Okay, all right. Some fans demonstrate their loyalty to a particular performer by joining her fan club. Club members can be identified by sometimes. So they will wear a designated item that designates like whose fan club they're for, and this item is called kaifuku, and sometimes it's a scarf.
Oh, everything makes sense now.
Okay. But it can be other things too, like a jacket, a bracelet, a corsage, that sort of thing. And following performances, as many as several hundred fans gather in their various club groups and stand in orderly ranks on either side of the street in front of the theater. And the clubs are arranged by actress with seniority within the troupe, and the theater officials set up barricades and oversee the assembly. And they're not waiting for autographs. Instead, they're waiting to give their favorite actor cards or gifts.
Huh. Just to shower them.
Yes. And just the chance, because they'll hand them to her, and just the chance that maybe she'll say thank you, It's like, oh my god, it's like, oh my gosh. Takarazuka has had a profound influence on history of anime and manga, especially shoujo manga, and I thought this was particularly interesting. So Osamu Tezuka, largely considered to be the godfather of manga, grew up in Takarazuka. And his mother knew many of the Takarazuka actresses, and as a child he was familiar with them and watched many of their performances. And based on their stories of noble princes played by female actresses, Tezuka created Princess Knight, the first manga aimed at a female audience, which tells the story of Princess Sapphire, a girl born with both a male and female heart, who struggles between the desire to fight as a noble prince and to be a tender, gentle princess.
Sounds like Rose of Versailles.
Yes.
Only she didn't really care about being a tender, gentle princess.
Right. Well, exactly. So it in turn, you could say Takarazuka Revue in turn also influenced Rose of Versailles, which is one of their most popular shows. They have turned it into a musical. It is amazing. I absolutely freaking love it. And of course, Revolutionary Girl Utena. It just, so many different things. I was lucky enough to see a production of Takarazuka Revue when I went to Japan in high school. One of my good friends in high school actually introduced it to me, and I can't even tell you how many productions we watched on, gosh, I'm so old, VHS without subtitles, but it's so dramatic and you can kind of tell what's going on. And so I really wanted to go, and one of my host families took me. It was amazing. I saw Snow Troop or Yuki, the Yuki Troop, and they did a show that's called Arc of Triumph. So it took place in Paris. It's kind of like a noirish musical. I'll show you some of the. So this is the top star.
Oh.
Who? Yeah. Right. Haruka-esque, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a Otokoyaku, and then there she is with the top Musumeyaku.
Sure.
And because they sell merchandise in the store, I got stickers. And then this is, of course, the top star in a finale outfit that I was talking about, all the feathers.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we can even, describe that. I mean, it's just, many, feathers, like a fan of feathers.
We'll scan these in and we'll put them up.
Yeah.
They ever do Peter Pan? I don't know if there's any
I don't know that they do.
cultural penetration of Peter Pan in Japan. It's got to be.
I would think so. I don't know that they do Peter Pan, though. I don't think I've ever seen them.
Well, you gave us Wipe Out. Here, have Peter Pan.
Yeah, right.
Check that out.
That's our gift to you. Feeling Grade, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The daemon in this episode is named Suka.
I'm gonna get you, Suka.
Yeah, okay. So in the subtitles, her name is spelled S-C-A-R, so Scar. In Japanese, her name is spelled S-U-K-A-A. The Japanese word for scarf is sukafu.
Mm-hmm.
So for her name, they literally just dropped the last syllable. So it's Suka, and it's supposed to be short for scarf.
So when you do that in English, you just drop the F, and you got Scar.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's like one of those. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some egghead's gonna get that.
Yeah.
Now you will too.
Yeah. Her character design. Wow. The mask that she wears in the beginning is a bluish green with red eyes, and
well, it's got one of her eyes.
Yeah.
Is I call it an olive eye because it's red in the middle, but then there's a circle around it. I don't know if it's supposed to be like the iris or the pupil or what, but it's green, so it looks like an olive with a pimento in it.
Oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying there. Yeah, that definitely. It has tears like streaming down its face, and it has an open mouth with pointy teeth.
Like vampire teeth.
Yeah. And she's also wearing a brown wavy wig, which we find out later is attached to the mask, and almost a purple kind of cape, which is essentially the scarf. But her tight sleeveless red dress and long red gloves are also essentially the scarf. And there's the same scarf emblem on the cape and on the dress. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Which I thought was neat. And when the mask wig combo comes off, she of course has bright green hair and eyebrows, long pointy ears, and glassy, almost bug-like eyes. Her eyes kind of reminded me of the DD girls.
Yeah.
You know?
Insectoid or...
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And her star tattoo is literally where her nipple would be, so...
Yeah. She got Janet Jackson going on.
I guess. Wow. So the little bit more info about the mask that Suka wears, it's based off of an old manga by Joji Akiyama known as Darren Man, which was in Shonen Jump from 1969 to 1970. I could not find a lot of information about the series, but the main character's face is what inspired the mask, and he also has this kind of like cape-like outfit, except it looks like a patchwork quilt. So basically the character design when she first appears was heavily inspired by Darren Man.
It sounds like Darren Man. Is this Dick York or Dick Sargent, Darren Man?
It's Derorin and then Man.
Okay.
So yeah, and I don't know how well it only ran in Shonen Jump for like a year, so I don't know how well known it would have been for young girls.
Well,
but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, the creators of the show are like, I know. So now we're up to our rating. The transformation when she was a scarf that Mako was grabbing, and to her having her hand grabbing Mako was so creepy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I really like how she had the weird creepy mask, and then it's like, surprise, she's gorgeous. And I also like the point that you made too when like Suka was like leaving, and like the weird mask and this like the way that she talked, and then like the sexy legs with the heels underneath. It's just a nice touch, but I also really like how her outfit was the scarf and how it continued to transform and reach and grab people as she attacked them. I I don't know, like, the more I talked about her, I like her a whole lot. I'm going to give her 5 out of 5 dark stars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to change my rating, which is a 4.
That's okay. Mine was a 4, but then we talked about it, and I was like, I'm going to give her a 5.
Yeah. I like the... Oh, boy. No, I'm going to stick with 4, because it's a gut thing. I can justify it all I want, but it's a gut thing, right?
Yep.
I mean, I like the creepiness. I like the disguise, you know?
Yes.
Only a couple Yomas have we had that they wear masks or that they start off as one thing and become something else. I think that's neat. I don't know what's going on with the dress and the Dr. Octopus bow thing. It's mystifying to me, like if that's supposed to be anything or if that's inspired by anything. But, I mean, it's really neat. Mm-hmm. But the only thing, the drawback I would guess is that there's so much going on with the Takarazuka thing, and it doesn't really tie into it at all. And it's literally, she's wearing a mask. You know, there's obviously a long tradition of masks in Japanese theater.
Yeah.
Like if we're doing a theater thing and we're calling that out, you think that it would play in a little more. Yeah. And how do you do that with Takarazuka? What's the Takarazuka Yoma in this case? I don't know. It feels like she's also theater, but it doesn't fit the theme. And like if they'd really cracked it, it would have been the transcendent idea of having a Catholic priest become a boxing guy. You know, there isn't that like that last push that really puts it into a 5 for me. That said, it just like rock solid 4, you know? I'm feeling a strong 4 to light 5 on this one. But yeah.
I understand.
A 4 though. Okay. Yeah, daunting, effective, creepy.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty good.
Okay. All right.
Name.
Yeah, name.
Great, good pun.
Yeah, right.
Notice how I'm not like getting really excited. It's that's
I
see what you did. I see what you did.
Yeah. Farewell, my lovely. She screams her name as she sees death stare her in the face.
She does. And
then her limbs flail around like a scarf in the wind as she says lovely. So I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another solid 4 for me.
Okay. That's okay.
Another really, really good one that I didn't feel it was a 5, but I swear the pause before the heart hits gets longer every time. I haven't timed it.
Kind of feels that way.
But the anticipation was almost unbearable.
It was almost unbearable for me not to laugh.
And then the scream was like, she screamed a couple because she's like,
she was like, Suka!
Yeah. And,
no,
and just blasted her. Yeah. The more we talk, no, we're locked into 4.
Okay.
It's got to be a 4.
That's fine.
Good though.
Yes. Stick with your guns. For Sabu or Dabu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub and the dub, I've got a lot, so I'm going to try to make this fast.
Yeah.
When Amara almost hits Lita and Serena, the latter two are much more mean-spirited, and the dialogue is drastically changed for all. So, Amara says, "Are you all right?" And Lita says, "Yeah, no thanks to you." And Serena says, "Ow, where's my lawyer?" And then
Where's my lawyer?
I know. And then Amara says, "No, don't do that. They'll take away my wheels."
What?
Yeah, I hate it all. In the dub, after Amara and Michelle are driving around with Lita, Michelle says something about how her and Amara are cousins. They've grown up together and that they have been almost inseparable since birth.
Mm-hmm. Feels like that sometimes.
Yeah. Later in the same scene, Lita is talking about Serena and says, "She drives me nuts." I mean, that does not sound like Mako to me. So I'm not a fan of that. I don't think she'd ever talk about Usagi that way.
I didn't know she was a pirate.
In the dub, the dialogue at Ray's house for the study session was changed. Instead of Usagi talking about Mako going on a date with Haruka, it was changed to Serena being upset because they went to get ice cream without her. And also, Lita didn't want to be her quote-unquote best friend anymore.
I want some ice cream too.
Yeah, right? That's what it's really about.
It's one thing, it's the 90s. It's the Actually, it's not the 90s. It's the 2000s. Well, they would have been preparing in the 90s to air in the 2000s in America. It's one thing to be a Japanese animator / writer, whatever you are, and making this show in Japan in the 90s when it's probably illegal to be gay. And so you're trying to get everything you can into this, and then you probably at the end pull back. We did everything we could, but we didn't want letters that read from right to left and go up and down, which they would probably get from conservative parents.
Yes.
So they did everything that they could. Cut to Cloverway in America, and you're going, we got to scrub all this gay stuff.
Yep.
We got to scrub it all.
Yep.
Who's the villain here?
Cloverway.
Yeah.
Well, and also
society is the villain.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
But
also, you took two people who are lovers and you made them cousins.
Yeah.
So then you make, and you didn't really change their dynamic. So then it just seems incestuous. And I feel like...
the tangled web we weave. When first we conspire, the gay people must leave.
Not bad.
That's not going on a shirt.
Oh, okay. All right. The dub scene in where Scar takes Lita's pure heart was cut from the Cloverway dub as it showed her breast. I mean,
yeah.
They just cut that whole
there's a heart.
Yeah.
Or maybe like off screen here.
Right.
Now there's a heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's driving me nuts. Here's a heart.
I know, exactly. In the dub, when Lita is getting her heart stolen, she is constantly yelling for somebody to help her. Which I really freaking hate.
Throughout the scene?
Yes!
Help!
Help me! Somebody help me! Why aren't you helping me?
You gotta help me!
It doesn't sound like her. It really makes me angry.
Should we get this heart? Or should we... Help! Help!
In the dub, Sailor Jupiter tells Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune that they nearly killed her, which should have made her secret identity not a secret anymore.
Right.
But that...
Everybody has just had a battle for their lives.
Yeah.
Then everybody runs off and pulls on their dress and pulls off their superhero tights and goes, whew, that was crazy. Did you guys see any of that?
Yeah.
It's like every time that the looter shows up at the museum, Peter Parker has to run off to the bathroom. But he'll be like, what if Peter, Gwen, Harry, and MJ all ran off to different bathrooms and then a bunch of bad superheroes fought and then everybody came back from the bathroom and, I got toilet paper on my shoe. Oh, you got toilet paper on your shoe? It's like, after a while, it gets a little too thick and fast to work.
Well, yeah, exactly. Secret identities are hard.
Yeah.
They are.
To write.
Yeah, exactly. I did want to mention that the new dub produced by Viz Media updated the dialogue to be more accepting of LGBTQ relationships.
Okay.
Basically, it updated it to Usagi and Senshi aren't against Mako being interested in Haruka because she's a girl, but because she's already in a relationship with Michiru. Is what they changed it to. Can we backport that into the original Japanese dub? Because that might even be better. Yeah.
Unless you're willing to read that everybody is somewhere on the Kinsey scale. And everybody, or if this was a little more than, a cartoon from 1992 in Japan, you could play into the emotional insecurity of a teenage girl, where she likes this older, cooler girl, and whether or not she wants to be her girlfriend, and whether or not you want that girl to be your girlfriend, you're like, oh, there's something's threatening the group.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't want to play that too much because we take that these 5 girls, they're driving each other nuts, but they love each other, they care about each other, nothing's going to break that.
Yeah.
But, that could be another facet to what's going on, because that could explain, because you could have Ami is just uncomfortable generally, so she's like, no one kiss anybody else, please.
Yes, you can play that.
Mina could be playing the I saw her first kind of thing.
Yep.
Ray could be playing the I'm kind of like girls or something like that.
Yeah,
we could be playing something different all around the table, and Usagi has no idea what's going on. There's no more roast beef sandwiches.
Yeah, just oblivious talking about food.
We don't go quite that deep, but
It would have been interesting though, and I if they ever, I mean, I don't think Crystal really does that.
The less the better.
Anyways, and now we are up to our rating. This is a Mako episode, and I think overall it's a really good one. I love how, and I do mean overall, I'll get to it. I love how easily Mako gets crushes or falls for somebody, and honestly, it's easy to see why she would crush on Haruka, even though we argued whether or not that's what actually is going on. She at least idealizes her. And I like that Sailor Moon showed a girl having a crush on another girl, or at least that there's some elements of that. It could have been better, though. Haruka does kind of come off a little bit cold-hearted in this episode, but I do think that it kind of ends on a positive note. Like, her just being like, oh, we need to stay close to this girl because she might have a talisman isn't really great. But I feel like she appreciates Mako by the end of the episode a little bit more.
Yeah.
I love how even though Mako's pure heart got stolen and she is weakened, she insists on fighting the diamond. That's my girl. That's that. I got a little emotional at that. I really, that's why I love Mako so much. And I love in the end that we see Mako wearing a scarf that's very similar to Haruka's, but she has her own flair and style that she puts into it. I think it's kind of a boyish feminine
single
look.
white female.
Oh, wow. But I don't like that Usagi and the others make a big deal out of Mako having a crush on or dating a girl. So largely for that reason, I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 roses.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was on a roller coaster for this one.
Okay.
And I kind of see it like, I went a little hard on it before.
Mm-hmm.
But I do it because I love it and I feel like I know it at this point. It's kind of like when you have a big fight with a friend over something, and then like you come back later and you're sort of like, okay, you know what? I disagree with you, but I respect your opinion and your decisions, and we're just gonna we're gonna just move past this. That's kind of how I feel.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I didn't appreciate that ultimately, and I can't know what's in the mind of the creators, but I do think it was intended. You can intend 2 things at once.
Sure.
But you can only really expect your audience to get one thing, right? It's tough to imply 2 things. So it might be that the girls are exploring their flexible sexuality, but I do think that it's a very light version of gay panic ultimately.
Okay.
And then once again, like with that friend, they say something and you go, I don't really want to fight about it. I just want to, so this is me having this fight with the show in front of you.
I understand.
We're not going to get back into it.
Yep.
But whatever they meant, art belongs to the viewer. Beauty is not the only thing in the eye of the beholder. So if people want to get that from this, and I choose to take it from this, no matter what they intended, I think that that's positive. Here's an interesting thing that you wouldn't want to go into too much because we already hate Haruka in this episode because she's so manipulative. But the entire thing is a manipulation. So while poor little Mako, and this is the only time I've ever called her little because she's a big, bounteous girl or whatever.
Right.
Is sitting in the back seat of this car, her sexuality hanging by a thread, and Haruka's only doing this because they need to stay close to this girl.
Talisman,
it's a
baby.
total manipulation.
Yeah.
It's a very James Bond-esque manipulation.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
all right.
I don't like all the conclusions I feel like the show is reaching, but I like all the questions it's asking. And so thumbs up for that.
Okay.
Michiru just not saying anything and just laughing while Haruka is totally buttering up this girl is one of the funniest, most adult things I've ever seen on the show. And I don't mean adult I mean mature, expecting 20-year-olds wouldn't get that nuance of emotion. Children are not going to get it. You know what I mean? But just she's just talking and she's just like, oh my God, here we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
The Bond car, awesome. I didn't give my number. 4.
Okay.
Love for it to be a 5. Know it's significant. episode
Yeah.
I'll probably watch again.
I think
can
so
get it
too.
all.
Yeah.
Because I only watched it one time this time. Would have been a 5 if Jupiter had got up and then just killed Scar right there.
I wish she had.
She did the sparkling wide pressure.
Yeah.
And she gave it back to the. She did the assist for the center, but if
They
they got,
always-
and I know that those
yeah.
are the sparkling wide are the cells that they've got in the drawer next to the thing, so they're ready to go. But if they went back and got the old antenna, you know that move where she just vaporizes somebody with a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
If she had just done that to
I know.
Scar, 5 no matter what.
I agree, and I wish that the others. I wish that Sailor Moon,
Or just thrown her like into the water.
well, I wish that the other Senshi got to kill the bad guys more often.
Yeah.
It's usually like Sailor Moon.
In the manga, they do that all the time.
I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
My English title is Heart-Eyed Hero, Crushing on Haruka.
Heart-eyed hero. I like
Yeah.
that. My Cloverway title. We're going to do a movie title instead of a song title this time.
Okay.
Green is the warmest color.
I like it.
It's about a girl
Yep.
who thinks that she's going to have this relationship, and she realizes, maybe I'm not what this is.
And her color is green.
Right.
Yeah.
It was that or Mekons are not the only fruit.
Wow. Okay.
Look it up. Learn something.
Okay.
Learn something today.
All right. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 97. Mizu no Rabirinsu Nerawareta Ami in Japanese. The Labyrinth of Water, Ami Targeted, the English translation, and the English title, Damp Spirits.
Damn spirits, everybody. I forgot to talk about the title for this episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
I guess.
I dislike it less than you dislike it.
I just think it sounds stupid. What does that even mean?
It doesn't mean any. Can I borrow a cup of trouble? But she borrows something. She gets in trouble. I get it. It's fine.
All right, fine.
Yeah. So okay. So Ami episode next week.
Yes.
I didn't get to talk about what I think is coming up in the future.
Yes.
But we don't have time because we
Oh.
went really long.
Okay.
And just to say, when we go long, it gets cut out of the show. You never know because our shows are about the same length every time. But that stuff goes on to our Patreon. I know I said I wouldn't do it. The only reason I bring it up is because we're going to be taking a little break here.
Yes.
And so since the next episode doesn't seem like it's going to change the status quo all that much, I will do my what's coming up, and you can know that I haven't, looked ahead or whatever for the next episode. My real unfiltered thoughts.
Okay.
Also, because we're going to be off, it's a little weird. We keep telling you to go to the Patreon, and then we won't be around for 2 weeks. But we will, because the Patreon keeps going.
That's right.
That's our commitment to our inner and outer senshi.
Yes.
We will still be doing animatification shows.
Yes, we're going back to
talking
talk about anime.
Other things, who knows? Roll the dice. Maybe we get Utena. You don't know.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Maybe we can bloom into you. Who knows? We do all those things. But yeah, if you want to check that out while we're on our little hiatus, you can go to patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Yes, it's a great way to get your Sailor Noob fix
Okay, I was about
during
to say,
the holidays.
not too beggy, and then you came in with that, but that's okay.
Leave it up to Mika to be super beggy. So we will be back Friday, January 7th. And we will be back with an Ami episode. So look forward to that. Damp Spirits is the English title.
Ami, the character most likely to celebrate Christmas, I've decided.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or Hanukkah. We're not sure.
Oh.
But whatever this fictional character celebrates, to our real listeners, we say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and all the things that you celebrate.
Yes, Happy New Year as well.
It's weird because we won't be back, so there's not really a New Year celebration. We don't retrospect much on the show, but
okay, yeah.
it's been a crazy year.
Yeah, I remember when we were like, wow, 2020.
Yeah.
What a crazy year.
All the memes.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's been a crazy year on the show as well. And there's no other group of listeners that I would rather share it with. This great show and our great listeners. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. And it's been really great talking to people on Discord too. So if you want to join in on the conversation, you can head over to our Discord, which I think we'll have a link in the show notes and everything. And that is our show for this week. And the name of the moon will be punishing you on January 7th with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Shoop Dreams.